So welcome everyone. This is the APCA radio call. As most of you know, this is our weekly call for our overseas volunteers to interact with leaders from India, from APC, and vice versa too. I'm Vishnu, I'm a volunteer from LA in California. Our guest today is Mukund Gaunda. He is the Karnataka state in charge for the APC Youth Wing. Mukund, from my understanding, you got to involve in activism pretty early, right? Activism in the like environmental and stuff. Can you give us a little understanding of a little bit of introduction of yourself and how you got into activism?
Hi everyone. Let me initially wish you belated happy Ganesh Chaturthi. We just finished our celebrations in India just yesterday, and now it's night and on Sunday. Just to give a brief introduction about me and the activism that I started. I'm born and brought up in the city of Bangalore. I started my education in Indiranagar, then went on to pursue PUC and degree education in St. Joseph's. So right from those school days, I've been a class leader, school head boy, and then when in my PU college and degree college, I was elected vice president and president for Kannada Sangha and secretary for student council. So that is where this activism and all started. Just to give you one example from college, there was a professor who was playing with a few innocent girls' emotions and all that. So I didn't know what made me go strongly and straightforward to the principal, and without hiding any facts, without sending any anonymous emails. I directly went to him, started speaking, didn't have a second thought on my mind, and explained him the problem. So the principal took it seriously, had an investigation done, and the professor was thrown out. So that gave me all power to start activism on a big scale. From those days, I started thinking wide enough in my student council responsibilities, and I've done broad changes, not just posting complaints, not just conducting fests, but also some other great achievements in those days. After coming out of the college, I joined a consulting firm. You might be knowing about KPMG. I am an employee with KPMG in India. After coming into this corporate setup, I thought I didn't get enough time to engage with society. That is when I joined many citizen activism movements in Bangalore, including environment, ecology, transport, and RTI. So I started raising questions. I started engaging with people on multiple issues and all that. And from there, I've always been spending my weekends away from home, somewhere in the somewhere on the road, somewhere in the railway station, somewhere in the orphanages and all. So that is when I started looking into politics. I was initially not very serious, not very keen on joining up, but did other political activities and all that. And from there, I continue to do that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. My next question was going to be like, so from activism, like you spend more time in activism than you have in as a political leader, right? So what made you move from activism to politics, and also why did you choose APC?
So first thing is I began thinking that changes can happen within politics only after joining APC. Even before that, I was associated with the BJP's student wing, the youth wing, and all that. So I literally knew that whatever I did outside from citizen forums cannot be implicated or replicated from these political youth wings, because those thought process, those usage patterns of youth were different. I thought about AAP when Mohan Dasri insisted me to join the party and do the same work from within the party. He said we won't use youths to print the banners and tie the tents and arrange the chairs. We will allow you to do the same things, allow you to continue your activism from within the party. And that is when I thought, okay, there is one political party which allows me to carry on my activism about RTI, about suburban trains, about saving trees, and still be associated with the party. So that is when I came into UP, and I became the ward president for Hoysala Nagar in Bangalore, and now being asked to take up the state youth wing's responsibility.
And how's the experience been so far? Are you able to do the things that you wanted to do by joining political process instead of activism?
So I have been able to do all those things which I wanted to do and I was doing initially. But now, being in a political party, it becomes more difficult. It has become a little bit difficult to devote time for two different things entirely. So what I've kind of done is I have dedicated my entire time to the ward, and all the activism revolves around my ward specifically. If I was working for tree sapling planting, I do it in my ward. If I was working for transport and better transit arrangement, I'm doing and concentrating in ward and educating people here. I'm not leaving the ward boundaries and going outside. And pretty much I can I'm making use of time. Not at a broader scope, but at a very narrow scope inside my ward.
Okay, let's. If anybody has any questions, we'll open the discussion out to the volunteers. So, anybody have a question for Mukund?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Ashok. I'm from Alisara. I'm actually from Goa, so I'm a neighbor of Karnataka, and I really like the place. I have a question on your personality and Karnataka as such. Your personality is more of an educated IT guy, which you are, of course. How does it blend with politics, and how does it help you to get more volunteers and build up the political firm, or is it like does it face difficulties for you?
Hi Ashok. So I'm not an IT guy. I did my commerce in my PUC and degree. So there, the commerce was in the middle between art, is always in the middle between arts and science. So even during my college days, when all the science guys took a backseat to lead any associations or lead any student council groups, commerce people used to get a good chance, and that is how I have been able to engage with people. And even after coming out of the college, I knew a lot of people being audit consultants and advisory consultants, being glued to their seats and getting back home. I've always tried to get out of the houses during my weekends and engage with people. And people know me as a student, as an audit consultant, and they have recognized me. Okay, this guy is spending time even after his work. Even during the works, I used to tweet, I used to do Facebook videos, I used to take up printouts, send letters and all that. So there have been multiple citizen activists like me who have observed me from closer spectrum, and they realize that, okay, educated youth is also interested in doing this at this very young age. And even my friends are literally very happy that I have chosen this path of working and together doing this work which they always want to do. So I've started reaching out to my friends, fellow mates from school, who stay very close in my neighborhood and near the schools in my ward, and others from my office colleagues, and also in my activist associations. So I've been able to gain quite a good momentum from that.
Good. Just one follow-up question. Does it help you get more people into the group?
Yes, it does. So my school was in the same ward which I'm president now. So the first set of people who came into the ward group were my own classmates, and the second group were their own neighbors. And we have started reaching out to their family members during this pandemic, and the numbers are growing slowly. But I'm very confident I'm getting those people whom I can rely on.
Hi, Mukund. This is Prashant, volunteer from Zurich, and I have a lot of my extended family living in Karnataka and Bangalore, and Nanu Kannada. So, and I would, yeah, it's just you mentioned that you were a part of various environmental movements in Bangalore area. Uh, do you
Yeah.
think there is a chance we can bring all these environmental activists together and politicize their movements? Why is it that environmental activists are outside of politics? I mean, like Dalit activism, things like that is coming into politics. Tribal activism is coming into politics. Why not environmental activism into politics?
Yeah, Prashant. If as far as I have seen environment activism from a very close circle. Environmentalists, like I think you might be knowing Leo Saldana, who is environment support group, and there are a few more people who are doing these environment things. They're literally sure that they're very cautious to get into any political circles because they enjoy independence. They enjoy this respect which they get when they are not associated with a political party. Their words are respected. Whether those their advices are implemented or not, that is a secondary point. But I have asked them to at least join a discussion with a political party wing, at least give us ideas. They are happy. But politicizing their movement or getting them into politics is not a big challenge, but they are quite unwilling to join. But if at all we get the governance power, if at all we get any administrative power, they are always there to support us, guide us, and ensure that their vision about sustainability and government's responsibility of sustainability and all goes hand in hand. But right away, getting them into politics when they are unsure whether their ideas are implemented or not is something which is a challenge.
So, what can AAP do to gain the trust of environmental activists throughout India? Because if we manage to gain their trust as, say, India's Green Party or something like that, maybe we'll get more cadre and more, a bigger multiplier effect to our campaigns.
We can get it. One thing what we have done in India as of now is we have started showcasing Delhi model of say education and mohalla clinics and transport and other free services in India, which they are also open-heartedly welcoming and appreciating. But if we do something there or somewhere else about greenery, about taking their suggestions or maybe very green issues, we can start telling them we are going to replicate it. Just like what we have as youth wing and auto wing in AAP, we can also start some other wing which revolves around the greenery, which revolves around environment, and then we can take the support of those people. So just to include in this, I have you just said that we have Dalit wing and all. We have Dalit activists getting into politics and all. On the same side, we also having this Kannada oriented group, Kannada Rakshana Vedike groups and all, also getting political colors into them. So what I have started in my youth wing is trying to gain the Kannada supporters, the Kannada Sangha youths into youth wing at least, if not to the main party system, into youth wing and establish something which is substantial. On the same lines, I'm also trying to establish this sustainability cell within the youth wing, so that at least the youngsters who are keen on taking up sustainability as an issue will join.
Right.
But as far as I have seen in Bangalore per se, people who fight for the greenery, people who fight for sustainability are quite very less when compared to the other issues. only when the green issues affecting their own area and their own houses, it's literally very difficult to get them all into one place. As far as I have experienced in last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Thanks, Prashant. Is there anybody else has a
Yeah,
question?
this is Arun from I used to live in Bangalore in the mid to late 80s. I used to live in Indiranagar and work in Bemal. So my question to you is, suppose you get power coming election, what have you promised your constituency?
Hi, Arun. Today we had the Namura Charche, especially for Indiranagar people. So we had experts from Indiranagar only talking about illegal commercialization and rampant corruption in BBMP. So I have divided my ward into 3 sets. One is completely the elite people and completely the lower class, and the other section as middle class. So elite people, and all these 3 sections are fighting different issues. So for the elite class, I have promised that we will stand with you no matter what, so that you don't have to go to the court, you don't have to fight the legal battles for the issues created by some corrupt BBMP or government officials. You have elected us. I should make sure that you will not, suffocate. You will not suffer for just for the right of peaceful living. For the other set of middle class people, I have promised that basic services will be available at your doorstep, and we will open kind of the centers or units of all essential urban local bodies in your doorstep, so that you need not check for some agent or go behind some agent to pay him bribe plus the service charges that the urban local body is asking. And for the lower middle class, it is an open book. We are asking them what they want. I have promised them to write down what they want and make sure that there is a separate cell which looks into their issues, and maybe put interns into it, maybe some volunteers into it, so that those things keep running. So this is my
I had
promise
another
which
question
happened today. Yeah.
Okay, I had another question. I think it is widely known that property taxes were a big corrupt thing happening, and people are underpaying property tax. If we did get power, they probably would end up paying what the real property tax is. Is that due to that awareness, will it impact our electability?
Certainly, Arun. So property tax, as far as I know, the other part of Indiranagar whose houses are not really very elite and not really very too much of liability on property taxes, those people will have to pay only less. The only gap between them and the property tax system is the agents. They are literally scaring them about property taxes and other implications. But when I really show them on the system that this is all the amount of property tax that they have to pay, they're very happy that their property tax is just 300-400 rupees. But if we implement the Delhi model and say them anybody who's owning say 30-40 sites need not have to pay property taxes, they are very happy. But now the condition, as per my recent general survey, people have not paid property taxes from the past, say 7-8 years, and they are afraid of the arrears and interest. So I am planning to include this in our manifesto, at least for ward level and Bengaluru level, to affect not only the current property tax but also for the arrears and interest. And that is because that is the main thing which is holding them back. They are happy to pay 300 going forward, but they are not ready to pay the interest and arrears which their ancestors, their father or grandfather has left on them as a liability. Hope I have answered your question. Otherwise,
yes, thank you.
Yeah, this is Alok here.
Hi, Alok.
Hello, hi.
Good morning.
Alok, I think is in UK, right?
Yes, I'm in UK. I'm calling from Cambridge, UK. Yes. Just I had two questions. First one is like, what are the top 3 issues what you think or whatever number for the youth of Bangalore basically? What do you think youth thinks? What are their priorities as of now? And I'll ask the second one later. Okay.
Yeah. So first priority, which youths, as far as I know, the youths have this job concerns in their minds,
Mm-hmm.
according to their literacy, according to their educational levels. What I see is people from Bengaluru, who have been born and brought up in Bengaluru, are getting an opportunity only to go to the BP office, back offices or call centers maybe, and work from there. We don't have this system to match their qualification. Even going a little lower than that phase, they don't have proper centers of education to treat them, to teach them that what other good companies need. So I was fortunate enough to get into a college which taught me something. Just because of the college was rated good, some big company came in, I was able to crack the crack the interview. But there are hundreds of colleges in Bangalore where top companies don't even go. That is mainly because the education system and the education quality of those institutions are not really good, and they are not able to go unless you take up entirely a different course and crack it up and show them certifications. Companies value it, but otherwise, what my intention is to bring at least most of the education institutions to that level where at least the medium companies which value the skills, which value the knowledge, at least they go to those campus recruitments and people can get into employment.
Okay. Thank you.
My only question mark is about job. Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is like regarding what activities ARP is doing to reach out to the youth of Bangalore. Basically, can you mention like what specific activities we are doing, how we are going to connect? Like, are we doing what kind of campaign? Are we only relying on social media, or we are running campaigns somewhere near colleges? And how are we reaching out to the youth of Bangalore? And what's the success rate you are finding as of now of these current campaigns? How many people are joining us, and how we are remaining connected with those who are joining with us?
Right. So as far as Youth Wing is concerned, yesterday we completed 1 month of Youth Wing's establishment. So there are certain physical tasks which are there on papers to take up once this pandemic issue subsides. Those are Youth Wing sponsored college fests, which will concentrate on all types of students, right from sports, culture, and the literature. That is something which we are planning to do once this things go away. Otherwise, we started with videos and social media things in the past 2 weeks. We spoke about NEP, we spoke about the student issues, the NET and CET exams, which were to be held. And the traction that we gained was very good. At least in the last 20 days, 70 new people have joined the Aam Aadmi Party Youth Wing. There is still the study going on how many will remain as core party supporters and how many just join for the sake of joining. So that study is going on from one of my team. And the second thing which is lined up for the next week is called as Talk to the Change Maker. So we have chosen 7 change makers from my contacts because as I said, I was a part of many various civic activist groups. From there, I have asked my friends or extended family members to come online, stay for 30 minutes on Aam Aadmi Party Youth Wing Facebook and talk about what you have done as a youth. So in that, as a political person, I have asked them literally to make this a political debate, show them what government has failed, and tell the public why you have to come and do this rather than government doing it. So I'm using this as a political weapon, but keeping the discussion purely civic fabric. So that is lined up for the next week, and from there we will take up the momentum.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mukund. All the best.
Thanks, Alok. Alok has been involved in the Karnataka ARP for many years. So I had another question for you, Mukund. We're hearing a lot about ARP Cares. which is becoming,
Yeah.
I think, it's gotten good coverage in the media. Can you tell the group more about it and how, if it's effective, this program that we're doing in Bangalore?
Yeah. So AppCares is a bigger thing that we are doing, which happened, of something which happened in Delhi. Delhi government gave oximeters to people at their houses who were tested positive. They gave their oximeters, and which they with the use of which they can test their oxy levels and all that. So we, with the help of oximeters and the sanitizer sprays and the a temperature checker, we are going to the areas, especially where middle and low income groups are there. We are going and talking to them just to use this just to use this COVID pandemic situation and getting closer to the people. We are taking down their numbers, doing the regular testing and sanitizing them. People are really happy that nobody has come so far to the houses, and this is the only party which has come, and they are feeling so inclusive that their health is getting prioritized by a political party, that too in a non-election season. And after noticing this, this activity on the field and also in the media, because media has given a very good coverage for this activity, because ours is the only party which has started doing this without any government support, without any government fund. So after seeing this, Bengaluru's BBMP has come up with a BLR Cares, very similar to AppCares. And recently, another person who is associated with BBMP's civic programs and engagements contacted Youth Ring and asked us to extend the support and say for at least to send youths to the thing. And I have personally told him we will not be able to send any Youth Ring people, because BBMP has a lot of funds and you should hire people and do those working. It is not a time for Aam Aadmi Party's youths, stay very less in number also, to come and help you in this. We are taking this situation, we are utilizing the situation in a humane way to get into the local, to get into the local level.
Right. Thank you, Mukund, for that.
Yeah, I have a question related to that. So, like Arvind Kejriwal asked on his birthday to everybody donate money for the oximeter. Did we did something at the Bangalore level, because Bangalore has lot of IT people, well-to-do class in there. So also related to that, did we reach out specifically to the IT guys in Bangalore, and did we ask them to donate for 500 one oximeter, maybe 10 oximeter, something like that for Bangalore?
Yes, sir. So when Delhi CM had asked for his birthday for oximeters, I think Bangalore team was able to donate close to 500 such oximeters from Bangalore city to Delhi. So Mohan Dasari was briefing us the other day that Bangalore team was able to collect funds and donate 500 oximeters. But as far as the campaign is concerned, and Aap Bangalore did not run any campaign as such in order to support Arvind Kejriwal's appeal. The reason is very clear. I heard this reason from one of our party seniors. We didn't want to replicate or echo that sentiment here, because from the other side, a lot of people will come back and tell us why that we donated it to Delhi. So as we had already started AppCares, we had donated 150 plus another 350, totally 500 to Delhi, but no major campaign was run.
Yeah, but I'm saying just for Bangalore, not for AppCare is doing. So did something to also involve not App guys, like asking them, would you like to volunteer, because you are a young guy and you can take risk. So would you like to volunteer and do this oximeter test of various people in this area. Give us like 2 hours in evening or 3 hours in evening. Like did we did that?
Yeah, when the AAP Cares was launched by Prithvi Reddy sir, he gave a call to people to support us and also to go with the AAP. Matlab, he very clearly mentioned that AAP and Aam Aadmi Party volunteers will wear the PPE kit and take the risk of doing it. The people around in and around Bangalore will have to just only support them in this cause and encourage us. Prithvi sir or the Bangalore team did not call anybody to take the risk as such. He just asked for the help and support. I'm not sure if monetary help has come in, but somebody from Saudi Arabia had donated 51,000 rupees. An ex-employee from a bank from out of his out of his pension or something.
Okay.
So I have noticed that one thing. Yeah.
Maybe now we can run like ask for volunteer, like AAP Care starts, and to increase it, to increase the volunteer. Just they don't need to maybe they don't have to be from Aam Aadmi. They don't have to believe in Aam Aadmi Party. Just if they want to volunteer for this AAP Care, something like that.
Yes, sir.
So my other question is, what we did to reach out to the IT guys, because Bangalore city is called the Silicon Valley of India, and there are lot of people who are coming from outside and living in Bangalore, and right, there are a lot of IT guys in Bangalore.
Yeah.
So
yes,
did we did something specifically to reach out to them, their issues?
No, from party level or Bangalore city AAP team level, we didn't do anything. But the ward presidents, the assembly presidents have reached out to their own set of people. It will essentially be people who will be working in all these sectors to help them to seek help. But as a mega invitation for help is not gone from the party. And as you mentioned, yes, we can use this success story and the media coverage and go to people and ask their support. I'm sure they will be ready to extend their help, monetary support and also physical support.
Yeah, I think we should reach out to IT guys, because they will be able to provide the monetary support, and usually they are young adults, and they will be there should be some way to reach out to
take support. Surely, sir. Yes.
All right. Thank you for the
suggestion. We'll do that, at least from youth wing.
Yeah. So Mukund, did you get support from your family initially when you went to activism? Do you have a history of activism in your family, or how was that when you went to activism? Your parents were fine with that?
Yeah. So I honestly don't have any activism per se from a family side. So we are all from a non-political, non-aligned family members. But as I said, I started this questioning activity and the social involvement activity right from my school days. They have known that my area of interest has always been a little different from anybody else in the family or in the neighborhood. So rather than telling it as a support, as a political thing, they have said yes for everything that I would do when social interest is at the center. But when they came to know that I have chosen AAP, they were a little apprehensive about choosing AAP because they themselves didn't hear or didn't know that AAP was there in Bangalore, or something like AAP activities were somewhere around the city. But when after I joined and when after I started sharing those infos, those speeches and those materials within the family WhatsApp groups and closely associated Facebook groups and all, people really started looking into it. And I also thought, okay, you are also in this. I also thought that I also realized that my family was also in that propaganda-based what to say, propaganda-based vote share.
Okay.
So they were all literally glued to the element what Congress had run. My mother, if I remember, my mother still believes that Indira Gandhi's family has given life just for the sake of country, and it is her responsibility to vote for Congress till her last election. And my father, being from a Gauda community, he still believes that that voting for somebody coming from his same background and seeing a same community person as a chief minister is something great and very satisfying for him. Yeah. But when I chose AAP, they have all encouraged me. They have told me that you have done good wherever you are. Continue to do the same thing and continue to gain the confidence of people and be good doing it.
This is Jeshwant. Hey, it's very interesting to hear you, Mukund. Very inspiring. Could you talk about your team? You are a convener of Youth Wing Karnataka, right? Could you please speak about your team and how are you working with them? Are they helping you in your daily activities?
Yeah, Jashwant. So as soon as I came into Aam Aadmi Party Youth Wing, so I got this opportunity to build the own secretariat for Aam Aadmi Party Youth Wing. So I divided the support groups mainly into some social media, social platforms, event management and all that. So we had 5 different groups and put few people who have already been there in the party or associated with CYSS or Aam Aadmi Party from a very from a medium time. I don't say from a long time also. So I started taking their support, but not all of them were active. So we started slowly removing people and only having these small amount of people. And I was getting this help very moderately, not very quick response, not very candid support also. As I said we are just 1 month old. Last month 20th we started. So now after our social media video based advertisements, our videos on NEP and our videos on corruption and all, I'm amused to see that people from different kind of background, from different kind of interests have started coming in and started joining in our support groups, and they are really a very big value addition for us. So recently a person from Bangalore who is a very big time volunteer for COVID during COVID crisis saw one of my video and came in and pinged me on Instagram and said, I was just waiting for somebody like this to open a very decent fabric of politics so that I can come and start helping, so that it's not a propaganda based, not a religion based or not a caste based. So we have I have discussed with him for almost 30 minutes to 1 hour, and we have chosen him to be our social media head. So he's taking it up, and I was closely interacting with another girl who is a lawyer who has worked with Nana Patekar, and she was also closely commenting and liking all our posts and all. So I started messaging her and asked her for her help, and she's very happy to join our women Aam Aadmi Party Youth Wing's women empowerment team. I think she's a very great addition to the youth wing at large, and for a women empowerment cell, she's really a great value add. So the team is very small, and the cells are, as I said, the cells in the secretariat are there, and they are closely supportive now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Arun, you want
Yeah.
to go ahead with the question?
Yeah. My question is, have you been able to check the pulse, where we stand, and how much effort is needed to really make it in the coming election?
As far as youth wing is concerned, we have not checked any pulse so far. I have checked the pulse in the ward level, where I'm a president. Do you want me to talk about that pulse?
Yeah. Whatever whatever you have checked, and how we are doing, and how much work is needed to really get somewhere.
I think the question is more,
Uh,
are we getting traction? Is that your main question? Are we getting traction with the people?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, are we
Okay.
making inroads? Are we making
Okay.
inroads?
Yeah. So as I said, loitering per se, I didn't do any such pulse checking thing. But as far as my ward is concerned, as a president, we have started checking this pulse from Aam Aadmi Party. As I said, I have broadly divided my ward into three. And recently, before having this Namura Charche in my Hoysala Nagar ward, I have reached out to people in those elite classes of my ward, and all of them are supportive. And people have literally admitted that in the past 5 years, in the past two elections, BBMP elections, many of us chose not to vote, not to come out and vote during elections, and few of us voted to a wrong candidate for the sake of a party or for the sake of an MP or MLA. But now we have suffered for that one mistake. We have suffered for 5 years. This election, we are going to make sure that their leadership is also committed and their ward person is also committed. We will do our own analysis and then vote for the party. And they have kept the gate wide open for Aam Aadmi Party to share the ideas for the ward and the ideas and commitment promises from the ward president. And from as far as the other set of I didn't go for the lower income groups yet. I've reached out to my friends and my classmates in the middle income groups, and as far as they are concerned, they are literally wide open to go for a. Not everybody, but few of my friends and their neighborhood and their relatives are wide open for a change, because for them it doesn't really matter whom they vote, which party comes in, and which ideology keeps running in their ward. They just want their ward to be clean and their social civic amenities to be well and good. And what I hear from outside is the low income groups are still, at least in Bangalore, at least in the Hoysala Nagar ward, inputs that I've got, they are still, kind of money minded, the votes that they can purchase. But till I go and test there and run the campaigns there, I won't be able to comment on that.
Hi Mukund, this is Sachin from Oslo. I
Hi
have
Sachin,
lived.
how are you?
Hi, yeah, I'm good, thank you. I have lived just few months in Bangalore, many years ago, and that time everyone used to
Okay.
talk about traffic congestion, traffic problem in Bangalore. Uh, I'm not
Okay.
sure if that is something related to the civics elections or not, or maybe it is out of scope. But do we have any promised in that area to the Bangaloreans, or this is not a relevant question for this election?
It is very much relevant, Sachin, because what I have seen as an activist, as I told you, we have fought for suburban trains, the bus lane. We recently, at least 9 months ago, we had bus lane Beku. We need bus lane campaign, and BMTC was the BMTC was amused, and they were excited to have a bus lane. But what I see as a local employee in Bangalore is, whenever the elections come in, be it MLA elections, they say suburban rails are something related to railways and central government. Whenever we recently had this MP elections in 2019, and MP was literally telling, we are ready, the central government is ready, only the corporators and the MLAs should support the suburban rails. And when corporators come, they said suburban rails and something, and we are very far. I'm just using the suburban rail as a word for transport. But if you just replace it with a transport system, they are just putting a blame game. But I don't know if party for Bangalore has started a proper plan for in a manifesto for transport. But as a ward president, I would say last mile connectivity, at least as far as auto rickshaws are concerned, should be streamlined. Auto rickshaws are minting money either because they are underpaid or they have to pay somebody else. Auto rickshaw systems in Indiranagar especially is very bad. whenever their service is actually required, say at 8:30 or 9:30 in the night, that is where auto rickshaws are saviors. That is the time they are misusing. They are asking for 100, 200 more than the actual fee. So my promise to them is we will make sure that at least in those times the auto rickshaw drivers do not misuse these situations, and there is a peaceful and a promised service provided to them. So when I was a part of activist group, which is WRI, World Research Institute. So when I was doing my internship there or in WRI, they were talking about Namma Auto and very specific to electric autos. If I am elected, I would like to test the first WRI autos in my ward.
Great. Okay, so what are the top 3 promises or the hopes that Bangaloreans are having from Aam Aadmi Party in BBMC elections?
First thing is people are ready to get their children admitted to the private institutions, but the government should have the hold on it. Private educational institutions should not be left to mint money or to strip the people of their money just because they are giving some education. That is one thing. Second thing is everybody knows the garbage problem can be solved very easily, but because of the corruption, because of the commission issues and all that, the garbage issue is wantedly not solved. And I can promise that in Bangalore, if we literally commit and say this is what we are going to do for the waste thing, we will do it. And the third thing is keeping all the government facilities open, free and clean for the people's usage is the third thing. Right from parks to buses and trains and metro. Just having a status, just maintaining that same services, but in a very good manner, in the people-friendly manner is what people are liking. In Bengaluru, as far as I have interacted with people, they don't need any extra superficial or extra things that needs to get introduced to Bangalore's ecosystem. They just need the systems to be properly put in place and effectively utilized.
Great. So, what is the model? What is anti-corruption model that we are presenting? Because in BBMC, corruption is the main issues which AAP is raising. So, what kind of model we are presenting in front of people?
So initially, before joining AAP, I'll tell you, I was looking into having a properly, a consumer grievance redressal mechanism on as a separate wing out of BBMP, and people will be left to complain happily on wherever the service is lacking. But now, after joining AAP, I'm really amused to see that Delhi government is providing this doorstep delivery of services, and that too for a small fee, not freely. And this is the service we want to replicate in Bangalore. Tell them you will get your birth certificate, death certificate, and other essential certificates at your doorstep, say for 50 rupees or 60 rupees extra for the person who comes and delivers. I think people will be more than happy to accept this as a government service, and that is what we are replicating as a promise.
Sachin, we're also promising transparency in decision making. So everything can be available on the website, and the decision making cooperators, will be available to the community for questions. I think once a month or twice a month. So there's a lot of transparency being offered as policies for the BBMP.
Another question from my side regarding Bangalore. This is Prashant here. So I was looking at the statistics of the voter turnout in Bangalore. In the assembly election as well, the voter turnout was 51%. And I mean, in the municipal elections, I suppose the voter turnout is even poorer. And in a previous Aapka radio call...
Yes, it is 30 to 40%.
Correct. That's right. Yeah, and I mean, and from the previous call of Aapka Radio from another activist in Bangalore, we found out that a lot of the migrant workers did not have voter IDs, so they were neglected by the local authorities completely. Their lives literally do not matter to them. And the same goes for even more elite people in working in the field of IT or consulting or banking who also don't have local Bangalore voter IDs. So you have low voter turnout among those who have voter IDs, and you have a lot of people who do not have voter IDs. Does AAP have any plan to raise this somehow?
So as a part of Bangalore, as a part of the AppCares, we have also simultaneously asking them whether you have the voter ID card, and then pushing this Android app, which is very user friendly, to apply for a voter ID card. But to address these two different issues, where one, people are not ready to go and vote even though they have the voter ID card, is because time and again they have lost the interest in voting, and still the conditions being the same. For them, we will reach out and tell them, please give us a chance at this time by coming and casting your vote and making sure that your vote matters. And for other set of people where the local bodies are totally neglecting, is only at the behest of the corporator. And just because the corporator is not asking, the officers are also not ready to give them the service, and mainly because they are not really any service. They just get to the migrant workers, right? If I can divide them into two, one is elite migrant workers who work in IT hubs and other good jobs.
Correct.
They don't want to participate in the elections because the Bengaluru's own people are giving them a bad insight of our corporations are not working, and they themselves want to retain their old voter ID cards at their hometowns. And the second set of migrant workers are laborers who do not want to engage with BBMP because their needs are their minimum needs are taken care by their own employers and dropped back to their hometowns whenever needed. So Prithvi Reddy sir has clearly told us, the youth wing specifically, and also for the Hoysala ward, that people should be driven to the voter centers or to the polling centers by will. And that is exactly what was reflected in today's Namura Charche, that RWS, I told them, Mohan was telling them one corporator was elected because only with the help of 4,000 votes, and one RWA will be having that 4,000 votes. And if one RWA decides that, okay, this person needs to be elected, they can decide on that. The RWS should have to make up the mind, and we will have to drive them with the examples of what we have done in Delhi. And we will surely do that.
Yeah, I have a question about what is the pothole situation in Bangalore, because I read some news. How bad are they? Manish.
So potholes is again, BBMP has recently come up with a fancy number of 600 potholes in the city, but I can show that 600 potholes just in Indiranagar. The potholes are really very difficult. Every time and again, I have followed the news effectively. Time and again, the High Court reminds the commissioners to fill the potholes and give the deadline, and never and as soon as the deadline approaches, BBMP will start filling the potholes, but never to the mark. Potholes still remains the same. One thing is because the road links mechanism is bad, and the water is left to stay on the road intentionally, that potholes occur. Third thing is wantedly, even though there is a annual maintenance contract signed with the contractor that he will have to maintain it even if the pothole occurs, at least for 3 to 5 years, and never the corporator or the engineer takes it up to the corporator, because they are happy to open a new job code and give a new job contract and get the potholes filled. Potholes are still there. I have closely taken pictures of about, say, in the up to last year, more than 60 potholes and lodged a complaint. Most of them were covered. Few of them were promised to be covered in the next year's pothole filling. But potholes are deadly dangerous, and I can't comment more on that.
I heard that I read one somewhere like there are like 33,000 potholes in Bengaluru.
Yes.
I mean, you said 600, 700. I mean, there is not a road without a pothole. Do you think this statement is true?
Yes. So citizen activists and all keep sending the pictures of pothole, and on an average, people say for one road, for 1 kilometer, these many potholes are there. I think Bengaluru Mirror or some other Bengaluru newspaper has done this survey and found out a bigger number. But BBMP has submitted to the court. We have only 600 potholes, and last year BBMP had told the formula of their calculation of pothole is different. It should be of so much of width, so much of depth, and it should be on this particular road, arterial road or main road. So there is a different kind of calculation for BBMP. I agree with having thousands of potholes in Bangalore. Recently, I had put a discussion video on during the rain. The roads, the bikers had to, literally jumped in the waters when potholes were there on the roads and they couldn't see it.
So we saw this video of this guy who became like an astronaut and landed on moon. I think everybody remembers. That was from Bengaluru. That guy was walking and right. And then because I went to
he's one of my friends. Badal Nanjundaswamy. His name is Badal.
So they said later on they fixed the pothole. I mean that road. But when I went to the page, I saw that they were putting sand. Did they actually fixed it properly with a proper they smashed the road and reconstructed again that part, put a good patch of road in there, or they just did a hack around it, just put what they did. If you know that particular road, what happened to that particular road?
Yes, sir. I think where Badal Nanjundaswamy. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Do you know the specific road's condition right now?
Badal's road, the road where Badal, the astronaut has worked. That road was during last. I think mayor was Gangambike. She made sure that at least that road pothole is properly filled. But I know for a fact that many citizens, take pictures and post it. Those roads are covered with some hack. Either it is some stones, some small stone, and some small amount of cementing. That is the problem. But where this activist has done this astronaut kind of a thing, just because it gained a media coverage and again the engineers will be caught, it was properly filled.
Mukund, so I'm not sure, are you standing for the BBMP elections?
Yes, Mansi. So I want to stand to the BBMP elections and make sure that I have stood for elections when I am 25. So the record will stay for the rest of the life, not only for me at least, and even for the larger family, that one of their family member had stood for the election when he was just 25. And even in my close friend circle, nobody had stood for election. Nobody had chosen the political spectrum, and it will continue to be in their memories as well.
Okay. So, I'm the dates of the election keep getting postponed, but I think currently they are planning to have the elections in December. So, do you have a campaign strategy for the next 6-7 months, or what are you thinking should be done so that you have decent presence by the time elections are announced?
So as far as BBMP elections in December, if at all it is in December, the party has given me a hint that this year, unless this COVID thing gets over, elections will be fought on WhatsApp and social media. So that is something which we are doing at a ward level. But otherwise, given my ward having 40,000 people, it is a very good time. Say 4 months or 6 months from now, it's a very good time for me to get deeper into the ward level, and having 1 or 2 individual interviews with all people in the ward is sufficient. And campaign strategy as such is just face-to-face talk with the people. There's nothing else apart from social media and the direct contact.
Okay, I think we reached our limit of the end of the call. So before we go, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to talk to us, Mukund. And the last question I have is, since you're the youth in charge, how do you see the future of AAP in Bangalore and Karnataka?
So AAP's future, I think it's clearly, at least as far as the youth is concerned, youngsters have always looked for the change, because I know as a youth I will get a very good service for a 200 rupees or a 300 rupees telecom service provider. I get a very good service when I purchase when I just give them 2,000 rupees for my bike or car service. But in a very big ward like this, if my roads are not proper, if my lights are not proper, and the service condition is very bad, the youths are getting ignited and they are very vigorous to ensure that the system should be in place, at least for the benefit of their and their families. And if Aam Aadmi Party is promising that proper services will be delivered, I think youths will automatically select this app, because they just don't want the netas. They just don't want this great dressed up or propaganda based politics. They just want a person who does what he has promised to do. Aam Aadmi Party, as it is done in Delhi and has widely popularized itself for the service that they have provided, and the youths are always getting this first-hand information on say WhatsApp or Twitter or Facebook. I have promised Prithvi sir actually that youth will definitely hold the hands of Aam Aadmi Party, because of the first initial response that I have got on the social media. And the second thing and the last thing that I want to tell is, I have in all my youth wing meetings, I have told that any youth wing member will be called as a change maker. We don't use a word called as Karyakarta, Swayam Sevak, or a volunteer. This is not a work. You don't come here to work. You come here to fulfill a purpose, a higher purpose for a social good. This is our tagline, and calling ourselves as a change maker is our theme. So there's nothing, there's no prototype which we are using from old type or the seasoned politicians.
Fantastic. Thank you for that positive note leaving us. And again, thank you so much for joining us on this call. It was a pleasure talking to you. And all the best if you do end up fighting the BBP election. We wish you all the best, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from you or about you in the future.